This is the Kasungu drone testing corridor. It's based in Malawi. I always describe the Kasungu drone testing corridor as a giant sandbox. You can come with your equipment, with your ideas, and you test them there. You can fly up to 400 meters above ground level. You have a lot of people living there, and basically some 3,000 square kilometers vast area that you can use. All of the things we're discussing here would not have been an issue 5 years ago. If you think about the technical capabilities of the drones you saw today, they would have been visionary 5 years ago, and they would have been beyond our technical capabilities. And this is why I would also like to commend the Department of Civil Aviation in Malawi, because the work that was already done together with UNICEF and other contractors in 2016, 2017, and the Department of Civil Aviation being ready to embark this journey together with UNICEF proves the case that you need visionaries on board in order to drive these things. And I think that Kasungu Drone Corridor is one of the results of such a vision. Oops. What do the applicants agree to? They come to the drone testing corridor. Obviously, they agree to follow the regulation. Otherwise, we're in troubles. They need an insurance. They need to assume all costs to the operation. This is, let me be honest, this is sometimes difficult because especially startup companies are having issues to travel to Malawi, bring their equipment, test what they need, and then return to their home countries again. But at the same time, it would also be in a way strange if UNICEF cover these costs and supports the development of a product which is then sold on the free market based on the input of taxpayers and donations. Applicants who test in the drone testing corridor need to grant access and share their data learnings, which is very important for UNICEF because we are actually aiming to understand what drones are able to deliver and to perform, and that, as I mentioned earlier, this has significantly improved over the last years. And finally, I think maybe the most important point, they need to provide skill trainings and workshops among local youth and entrepreneurs. And this was already mentioned once. We need to train the ability of people in Malawi and in Africa. We need local drone pilots, we need local drone builders, we need people who are able to work with data. The three use cases I will rush through. Transport, I think we all know what we're talking about. Connectivity is using a drone to relay a signal downwards or have a drone as a flying USB stick. And also UTM. So we already have an operational UTM in Malawi, which is run by Unifly, at least in the drone testing corridor. And imagery data. Imagery data is one of the things that's really of interest for UNICEF. This is Kyoto University. They're using drones to do soil analysis and advise farmers on soil management. Then we had Liverpool and Lancaster University in Kasungu, and they were using drones to identify water pools to work on malaria vector control, to identify mosquito breeding sites. And this basically explains how imagery data works. I think we all know that. And here we've got Globi, and Helena will also soon come up and give a presentation on their work. And so if we have data on where an intervention would be necessary, or where we can identify hotspots for cholera, for example, we always sensitize the community. That's really important for UNICEF. We don't want the people get scared. And then we work also with local students who do ground truthing, and we use artificial intelligence to analyze the data we captured by drones, which is done by Globi in this case, and identify hotspots, and then we go back to the community and tell them, well, this is where you have a lot of unprotected water sources, where you're lacking pit latrines, for example, and where you're very likely to have a cholera outbreak next. The corridor and the work in Malawi takes us one step closer to the automated provision of drone services through an ecosystem with local expertise, using an UTM and the help of local and international partners. And while Malawi was the first drone testing corridor for UNICEF, we just recently opened one in Kazakhstan. And in Vanuatu, we are currently working on transporting medical goods as part of a cold supply chain. So UNICEF is, I would say we're embarking the journey. We don't have a lot of people who are really experts in drones, but we understood that drones are a tool that we can use. And we very much depend on the industry, on startup companies and universities that are actually coming to work with us, which is also one of the reasons why I'm here today to tell you about our work, because I'm really interested to reach out and talk to all of you. Questions and feedback, here are our email addresses, and we will be here over the next days and looking forward to your questions. Thank you very much.